Welcome one, welcome all to episode 260 of the Xbox Expansion Pass, recorded on Saturday, January 25th, 2025. I'm your host, Luke Lohr, the InsipidGhost, joined by my co-host, the intrepid Captain Logun. Today we are also joined by one BaronJ of Level 1 Gaming to chat about the incredible Xbox Direct that saw shadow drops, Ninja Gaiden 4, and some incredible footage of South of Midnight and Doom the Dark Ages, as well as Clair Obscure Expedition 33. As always, we hope you enjoy the show. Logan, we like to start the show by offering words of kindness to those who've made our gaming weeks better. But first, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. Had a really fun week this week. Just kind of jumping into different stuff. Last night I jumped into Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. That we'll probably talk about later. But yeah, just been gaming, just been enjoying the developer direct and having that on repeat if I can. So just nice to get some good news this week.
It was a good week. Mr. BaronJ of Level 1 Gaming, how are you, sir?
You know what? I am doing really good. As you guys know, or if you didn't, I'm an early bird, so I've been up for a while. And it's a nice day. Power's on. So we're winning. You know, small mercies.
There you go. That's good stuff, man. Gentlemen, I got to say, we were treated to a pretty big week. And before we talk about it, though, we like to do something at XEP called our Words of Kindness, people that have made our gaming weeks better. Logan, I'm going to ask you to start off. Who's made your gaming week better?
I'll toss out Jam Pack Sam as his coverage for Assassin's Creed Shadows was very interesting. I know a lot of us got to check it out. I'm very jealous that I didn't get a chance to dive in because I really was looking forward to. Yeah, right. It's loving the idea of getting in there to try and take a look at some other stuff, but we'll get into that for sure. But shout out to Sam, you and Sam and so many others. I know who you're gonna shout out for it is they put a lot of work in a short amount of time to be able to get that video, those previews out, and so kudos to you guys for getting the content. It was nice to hear all the different perspectives on it, especially given how other people's we'll get into it. I'm like trying to go into topics, but yeah, Jam Pack Sam for sure, as well as others for the coverage.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I really enjoyed Sam's video. We had a fun moment where in the preview event, I saw Jam Pack Sam's name. I saw some of the Iron Lords in there, and you can't, like Baron is, sometimes you can't talk to them, but you see them all there, and you're like, yay!
You're all winking at the camera, hoping they see you.
Yeah, that was cool. It was fun. But that was a good time. I want to give words of kindness to Jeff Kanata and Christian Spicer over at the DLC podcast. Recorded with them yesterday, and that should be out by the time you're hearing this in podcast form. It's probably out. I don't know their exact release schedule, but they were kind enough to ask me to come on and talk about the Xbox Direct, and it's always cool because not only are they a popular show, they're just wonderful human beings, and so that was enjoyable. So I want to give them a shout out. Mr. BaronJ, who made your gaming week better, my friend?
Shout out to Geek Life Mike, Dez over at Dames for Games and Level 1 Gaming, and who else was there? And oh my god, Ham Solo. Much love to those folks for relighting the fire of the Backlog Barbarians under my butt. So we have a show, Backlog Barbarians, not plugging, but just letting the folks know background. And it's about completing your backlog and working on your backlog. Well, I've had a couple backlog busters in the form of Marvel Rivals. And so second season, gold rank again, just working to get those skins, and it's absolutely ruined my backlog journey. And they told me that if I get onto our show on February 2nd and I have not completed a game, they will mute my mic and turn off my camera. So shout out to them for reigniting the flame of being a backlog barbarian.
Man, I know exactly that pain. Logan knows that pain too. When that live service game gets into you, everything else, I should be reviewing Sniper Elite Resistance. I'm enjoying that game. It's fun.
Yeah.
Fun. But like the boys want to play Rivals.
Yeah, we gotta go on. The multiverse needs us.
Right.
We gotta stop Doom.
That's right.
Now there's vampires. Like there's so many things we have to do, and the digital universe needs us.
That's right. You get it. You get it. I'll tell listeners the funny behind the scenes thing this week. You were playing something on Discord, Baron, and Logan.
Yes.
This straight up, he like busted like to nth degree. I'm like, what's he playing? I clicked on it. Suddenly, I've joined his like live stream voiceover, and I'm like, hey.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, you got busted lurking. Look at you.
I was just trying to see what you were playing. What were you playing?
Probably, I think it was Breakpoint. So that's the game that I'm working on completing. There's a bunch of other games. Like I know I'm in the last like 3 missions on Tactics Ogre Reborn. I need to go ahead and just finish that. But Breakpoint, I feel like oh my gosh, I'm trying not to eat up time. Long story short, they made the biggest mistake ever when they launched that game by making it to where you were on your own. That was the biggest mistake because the shining light in Wildlands, in Ghost Recon Wildlands, was the fact that you had an AI team with you. Even so, you were never alone, and they felt natural, and it worked. There was a way to give orders, like it was just super cool. And then, of course, there was jump in, jump out multiplayer. There's the jump in, jump out multiplayer within Breakpoint, but they removed the AI, and then later on in the game's life, they added them. And it became a whole thing, and it should have been there from the beginning. And I believe that was that's why I stopped playing for sure. So picking it up now and playing it with all the updates and everything, my God, the game is not only beautiful, it's fun in a weird, not so grounded way. But yes, absolutely. But the weird thing is the mission structure, because the game has been going for so long. And then it's one of those games where if you can find the final boss and you can defeat him, like good on you. So you really can create your own story and mess up the timeline, which we actually did. So yeah, we're definitely running in a broken timeline breakpoint.
I was addicted to Wildlands. That was my Xbox One X. Remember the Project Scorpio? That's what I played, and I was devastated when Breakpoint launched and didn't do what it needed to do.
Yeah.
Like I would go back. I really would go back.
Bro, it holds up so well. And there is just so many guns. Then there's the realistic mode you can play if you don't want to collect colorful rare gear, if you just want only 2 guns and you want to have to like actually bandage your wounds. There is that. And then there's the game version. But the cool thing is you can have 2 people running 2 different versions within the same playthrough.
Oh, so that's cool.
Yeah, shout out to Johnny, man. He's playing it on realistic and I'm playing it in video game mode, and we're both in the same world. So he's all limping around, only has 2 guns. He can't reload frivolously because he'll lose all his bullets. And then I'm over here just picking up colorful loot, like, ooh, rare drop.
If I could get the boys off, see, right now there's the Godzilla event in Fortnite, which I'm loving. And I'm loving Rivals.
I forgot.
In a heartbeat would I play Breakpoint. In a heartbeat. I love that formula, but I've never gone back. So
don't you have Mass Effect 2 and Indiana Jones
you've
made promises about?
This is ridiculous. First of all, I never made promises on Indiana Jones, but I will play it. I will play it. Here's the problem, and I know we have so much to talk about this week, but Baron, I know you feel this with me, but coverage, work, man. It's like nonstop, right?
It's ridiculous.
And like there's such a crowded February, such a crowded March,
April now,
May. Like, what am I gonna play Mass Effect 2? You know what I'm saying? Like, I really can't be held.
Well, you know what sucks, man. You need to. Like, Mass Effect 2 is one of the main reasons I married my wife. She watched me mine planets for resources with no complaint for hours on end. And Logan, you know what I'm talking about. Like,
it's really good.
Yeah, like, and then you're just sending nodes at a planet, it's scanning, and then you get your resource, bro.
Trying to make those choices about what you're gonna do in situations, and like, how dark am I gonna go? Am I gonna go full on Anakin dark, or
no? I cried when I accidentally killed a whole race of people. I cried and I reset. And Logan, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. I thought I was making the right choices. I was wrong.
Yeah.
And yeah, you quick to go from I forgot what the good one was called, Paragon to Renegade. Really good. Wow, dang, it's embedded. Oh, I haven't
You
touched
feel
it.
You feel it. Feels it. Well, let me tell so that's a gaming gap for me. I'll acknowledge it. And on paper, I should love it. I tried to play Mass Effect 1, did not enjoy it. Everyone's like, just go to 2. Okay. All right. Well, so I had I had the legendary cache, the helmet and everything that came out. I was like, no, this thing was sitting in my attic forever. So found out that people want that. And so I Bacon from the nerd chat was like, yo, let me get it. Give me a fair price for it. Okay, cool. I didn't want to rip him off. Then I went to go ship this thing. Y'all, I don't know what happened at UPS. Do you know how much shipping for that legendary cache was?
Was it like $60?
It was $93. $93. And so, like, first of all,
how far is Bacon? Can you drive?
Bacon's in Colorado. No, he's far from me.
That's right.
But I've never seen that happen. And also, like, let me be clear. Wasn't trying to make money off of him. He's part of the crew that helped me get my PC, which I got for like super cheap. There was not a money problem. I'm not upset in that. Because I want somebody that wants to have it. I'm that guy. Like, please have the thing that you want to have. And if you see something Superman or Batman that I want, help me out, right? Like, that's how I think. But I've never seen that shipping cost in my life. And I was like, good. Look, here we go. It was rough. Didn't matter. Like, it was cool. I wanted Bacon to have it. But, like, I couldn't believe that. I was like, is that where we're at now? Is that where we're at? And eggs are still expensive. I'm just fucking.
Oh God, right. $7 for $7.50 for 12 at a cheap place.
Yep. All right, guys. All right. So let's talk about this week. We had some dope stuff later on in the show. If you have Assassin's Creed questions, I will take them. Please send them in. I can star them for later or when we just get to it. But boys, the Xbox Developer Direct, it was here. It was this past Thursday. I absolutely loved this showcase. Could not believe how great this showcase was. Honestly, Xbox killed it. I kept trying to get that into the thumbnail. Xbox crushed it. Xbox killed it. Couldn't get the image to look right. But man, oh man, did they really just do a great job. And after the summer showcase that they did such a good job, this is to my mind, back-to-backs that they crushed it. I don't think they had a Dev Direct in the fall, and I don't count the Game Awards. This is 2 back-to-back, very good, especially for a company that we sometimes complain about messaging. They started off Ninja Gaiden 4. Ninja Gaiden 4. First reactions on that, Logan. Let's start with you, my friend.
Dude, it looks amazing. It looks absolutely amazing. I was really taken aback by just how much better this looks compared to what I'm used to Platinum doing, which is like the Bayonetta games. And the Bayonetta games have all kind of been like stuck on Switch for the most part in my experience. So I'm used to like 720p, 30 frames per second, 60, like it's questionable. So like seeing like a full-fledged Ninja Gaiden in like modern systems, it's amazing looking. They 100% are nailing like what old school Ninja Gaiden looks like. Like they've got the special kills, they've got the ultimates, they've got the wall runs. It is like Ninja Gaiden. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like I'm here for it. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I spent some time jumping back into 2 from forever ago and tried out the new black version that they talked about. But yeah, right off the bat, this looks awesome. New protagonist, Yakumoto. No, what was his name? Yakumo.
This is not Ryu Hayabusa?
No, this is Yakumo. He's part of the Raven clan, which is rival to the Hayabusa clan. And he has a mission to try and stop the Dark Dragon that's still alive. That the Divine Dragon Order, who's kind of like in control of Tokyo at the moment, is kind of like protecting. So new guy from new clan coming in, trying to be the new master ninja. He's a young dude. He's coming, and for whatever reason, him and Hayabusa are just like butting heads. And I think it's like a ego thing. Maybe it could be a clan thing. So not quite sure, but overall, it looks amazing. So, Baron, what'd you think?
You know what? I am extremely happy for a lot of folks. I'm not really into what's the word? What's the descriptor? Character action games. Like I'm not a Nier fan. I'm not a like it just doesn't call. Well, it's been years since I've played them, but I'm happy for everyone else because it does look amazing. It's going to be fun to watch. I can't wait to see all the dope Devil May Cry style edits that you're going to catch on social media with the slow-mo and the no UI. Bro, they're going to be amazing. Like I said, I enjoy the art of it, but in terms of me playing it, I might go and give it a shot, but it's not my thing. But
why is it not your thing, if you don't mind? Is it speed? Is it difficulty?
It's a mix of both. I mean, even when it comes to shooters, like I was never a Quake or a Doom guy. I was always more Valorant, like the grounded, slower paced, because my flick is just horrible. Like I'm horrible at it. And like MF Doom says, I only play games that I win at. But yeah. So yeah, full pause. But no, but this looks amazing, and I'm glad that people are getting what they want. Like I love when it comes to IPs, at least when devs listen to the people. Like give the people what they want. Like you have the IP, don't sit on it for a century. Let the folks, free the Nemesis system. But yeah, all right, that's it.
There you go. I'm with you on that. I will say, I think Ninja Gaiden's super cool. The difficulty does always put me off a little bit. Logan, can we go ahead and pull the B-roll down for a moment, bud?
Yeah.
I really do think it looks great. However, I think for me, it'll be a matter of how accessible is it? Are the difficulty settings there to make it approachable? Can I go through and button mash, or is this going to be a pure high skill experience? And the reason I ask that is I have no problem with either, but I think that will determine how excited people are for what they get, right? And Ninja Gaiden Black 2 being shadow dropped, I think is going to give people a lot of perspective on that. I know I have not played it. I'm doing Sniper Elite for review right now, and I'm playing that thing on full easy mode, going through just to wreck shop. Can I do that with Ninja Gaiden Sigma Black, or is it like full skill ceiling? You need to be on it. Both are great, but I do think it determines how many people get excited for something, and that's why I bring that point up. What do you guys think?
I'm definitely
frozen is what happened.
Oh, can you hear me?
Oh,
no,
there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
You're back.
Oh, okay.
You're back.
I'm sorry. I muted because you were talking to my family. Yeah, my bad. I won't touch anything else.
No, you're good, man.
That was great.
I heard my daughter in the background. She was not having it.
No, and that's why I was telling them, please close my door, guys. But no. For me, I like the whole. What's the whole joke? The whole journalist mode. And I laugh at it, but it's definitely a real thing, man. Like, dude, I have 3 kids running around. I only got a few, if I'm lucky, a solid 20 hours of gaming, and like 15 of that is Marvel Rivals. Like, so I only got a few hours to throw at all these other titles. So, you gotta give me a little help, or at least multiplayer. Now, of course, I know this is not gonna have multiplayer, but I have no problem calling in a ringer. Oh, and a heartbeat. Oh, that's how I got through Elden Ring. Shout out to Grown Women Gaming, Lady Infamous. If it wasn't for her, I would have not beaten Elden Ring. But yes, I like the idea of making things, whether it's slowing it down or increasing the parry window, because I've always been horrible at parries. Always have historically been horrible at parrying. And then hopefully there's not too much platforming, because there is a video out there somewhere of me failing horrible at Jedi Fallen Order on the little turbines.
So when you are failing at Jedi Fallen Order,
yes,
are you adjusting the difficulty, or is that normal?
A little bit of both. I tried to play it on Jedi Master. I don't know what possessed me to do that. I think because of fresh off of Elden Ring, and I was like, let's keep the hype alive. And I did feel like I was playing a Dark Souls game, but it was the jump, the platforming stuff that I failed the most at. Like, I'm horrible with platformers, absolutely horrible. Like, oh, just jump to that spot and then jump to that spot and then spin and then do a heavy drop on that block and you're good. Like, no, what? I'm not a gymnast. I press buttons. Like, I help me. And yeah,
you and I are more akin in that way. I'll tell you right, like the ugly kid, Mr. Babbitt in chat, the only ugly member of the chat today, Mr. Babbitt. He is so good at remembering those combos to take down this boss. That's why he enjoys the Souls games and such. I am the button masher, and that's what I enjoy, right? And so that's what kept me from finishing some of the Ninja Gaidens. I believe I beat the first one on my Vita of all places because I love Vita. Yeah, dude, I love my Vita.
God. Oh, Vita's, yeah.
But I will say, if the time allows, right? Because we've got so many things coming out, I absolutely want to play Black 2, right? Like, this game looks dope. And I should be careful with Black 2 because there was a game called Black back in the day.
Oh,
everybody wants to speak. Yeah. But Ninja Gaiden Black 2, like, for this to be shadow dropped, it's a $50 game available everywhere. People can play it, but also like a treat for Game Pass gamers, which I think is awesome, right? I want to play it, and there's no harm, no foul as a Game Pass gamer. So it is downloaded. I've got it, and I am anxious to go into it. Logan, did you play it? Is that where the B-roll is coming from, or is this pulled from the trailer?
No, this is my playthrough of it. So I played up into so the trailer that they released for it, because this is all Unreal Engine 5, the remake, which is, it looks amazing. So I was playing on my PC at this was all 60, and then I switched it over to 120 frames per second. But yeah, I played on normal for a couple hours and put some time into it. I had forgotten what it's like to play a Ninja Gaiden game, and I was just like, oh my god, this is like, it's fast and it's kinetic. It definitely made me realize, like, this is kind of where I feel like a lot of the Dark Souls games got their inspiration from, with just having multiple enemies and having to be really good at blocking and stuff. So I had a really good time with it. It looks amazing. I can't wait to see what they do with 4. And I can't even remember what the story was in 3. So I'm like, I feel like I need to go back and try to find a copy of 3 or something, or just pick it up on stores and stuff. So, but
it's Game Pass. Game Pass.
Is it on Game Pass?
Yeah, the whole
I didn't realize they were all
the trilogy is on Game Pass, but not the deluxe edition trilogy. And so because I looked at it yesterday, it's a little bit odd. Because I have all these. I want to play them constantly. I made it halfway through. It's either the first one or the second one, and it's difficult because, like, is it Sigma? Is it Black? Is it 1 or 2? Is the 360 version? Like, but the modernized version, not this one, they are available on Game Pass. So definitely know that if this takes anyone down a rabbit hole, takes you down a rabbit hole, Logan, which I hope it does, because those are the best. Like, if it takes you down the rabbit hole, it's all there. And as a Game Pass subscriber, you have access to all of that, which is, I think, is very cool.
Yeah, so I got access to this one the day of, so I downloaded it. It is really, really good. It looks amazing. It's very clean. The whole game just looks like it got a complete refresh, but it still feels like old school too. Like, it's and I was trying to, like, remember where the heck, like, a lot of the little secret places were, and some of the secret places that I remember from the opening are still there, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like, it literally is just like when they did Ninja Gaiden Black, and just for 2. So I was like, all right, well, awesome.
I was shocked. We shout out to Yobi. He legendary Yobi. He was saying that it was 80 gigs.
Oh, let me take a look.
I didn't download it, but that was just so cool. Like, that's what gave it away, that it was a remake and not just a pretty, like, let's enhance the graphics.
It to me, when I look at a game like, first of all, they kept this under wraps pretty well those that weren't in the know, right? Like I know that some of the journalists kind of knew about Ninja Gaiden being a thing, but Sigma 2 being a thing, full remake, no idea. Really cool to see that happening. I love that this is available everywhere, which I don't think I would have said years ago, right? Like I consistently am taken aback by my own change in direction, but I love that it's available everywhere. You can buy it if you want to buy it, but Game Pass subscribers, you're getting that little treat. You're getting that little bit of goodness, and that to me, I think is just going to be Xbox's direction going forward. Like, yeah, you can buy COD, you can buy South of Midnight, you can buy. The best part about this direct, I thought, it was that we got to talk about the quality of the games.
Yes.
Every single one of those splash screens at the end told you what platform it was coming to, the dates that they were arriving, with the exception of Ninja Gaiden 4, but even then you get an idea that it's soon, like this year soon. But you didn't have to doubt, is this exclusive? Is this not? And by removing that conversation, by removing that question, we can talk about how friggin' dope South of Midnight looks, how exciting Doom Dark Ages is. So I was really happy for the improved clarity there.
And that's where I've always felt Xbox has struggled at delivering messages. Like they've always struggled at that. And they've always been so far ahead of the curve and just really aggressive with it. And they just don't know how to pitch it to the normal folk. And to see them, like you said, cut the feed out from that whole argument. Like, boop, yep, they're everywhere. And then to start off, all of these are day one in Game Pass. Like, lead with the positives. Lead, like, make it clear what's happening here. And that, that's always a really beautiful thing. And I'm glad they're finally leaning into their wins. Like, lean into what you do good. And if it's Game Pass, then my God, yes, it's available everywhere on Game Pass.
Yeah, that was one of the takeaways that I got when I was watching the developer direct back for note taking. They start off, they say, hey, like these games are going to be available on Game Pass. They're going to be cross save, cross progression for the Xbox PC app and for consoles. So if you buy it, you get all of the beauty of play anywhere. You only have to buy it in one location. Like those were things where I was like, yes, this is why I tend to stick with the Xbox ecosystem. Yes, I could get these games just about anywhere else, and I'd be happy to if that was the only console that I was rocking. But it was nice to know, like, oh, okay, well, I have my PC, I have 2 Xboxes, I've got my PlayStation, I've got 2 Switches and stuff. So having those everywhere is going to be great if I want to do that. But I'm looking forward to the day where Play Anywhere will extend to other ecosystems as well. So I don't have to go through necessarily like Game Pass app on PC or Xbox app on PC. I can go to Switch, log into my Microsoft account, access the games through Game Pass on the Switch, and then be able to play there, or vice versa with like the PlayStation. Like I'm looking forward to having cross progression, cross saves across multiple ecosystems and stuff. That's what I want to get to, because that's like the PC life, right? Like you go to any PC, you log into your Steam account, it's all there. All the saves are on the cloud. It doesn't matter, but you can't do that with the Epic system. You can't do that with the Ubisoft store. You can't do that with GOG Gaming. So that's the future I want. Like people talk about wanting to have like NFTs to bring cosmetics over to like other games and stuff like that. I'm like, give me saves that just cross over from ecosystems, man. Like I have games that I started one place and want to play in another ecosystem. I just want to do that. But having Xbox continuously like say like, hey, day one Game Pass, cross save, cross progression, play anywhere. Those are the things that I'm like, yes, I will buy into that, because that's gold for me.
Man, hearing that, I'm looking forward to having an Xbox set up like how Discord or Steam has it, where you just scan the QR code and you're in.
Yeah,
like that actually doesn't sound bad at all.
It's the agnostic future that was something that I was reminded of when and like self plug here. Luke did the interview with John Romero for Doom, and it was really interesting to hear the conversation about that, because I was like, oh yeah, I remember a time when everything was shareware, everything was shared. Like they would give engines to other companies to be able to make games because they wanted to play games from other people. They wanted to share those assets, so they would have like floppy disks with the full game on it, just handing it out to people. And if people wanted to support them, they would pay. It was like Kickstarter before Kickstarter was a thing. And I'm like, yeah, we used to be very agnostic about our games. People used to make apps and then port it over to other ecosystems, Linux and Mac and stuff like that. And I was like, man, this is kind of like we've had our walled gardens for so long. And now it feels like we're starting to get to the point where consumers are like, no, I have too many ecosystems. I need y'all to like start building bridges, because I'm tired of having to jump the fence every time I want to go jump from one place to another.
I do want us to loop back to the games, but to cap on that thought, it's interesting now to see that, the direction of each company, Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, in terms of first party. We had this whole generation where Xbox failed to deliver first party content at a cadence and scale that people were wanting. And from there, that void was not filled. However, now as PlayStation is going through basically an existential crisis from the outside looking in, and we're seeing canceled project after canceled project, live service versus single player, et cetera, it feels like, at least now, there's no absence of games to play. There's no element that we need to worry about. And so when I see all these games that are arriving, you can play it in Game Pass if you want, or buy it in the ecosystem that you like. The only thing missing is that in some cases, I do want to do what Logan's talking about, just log in and get my cloud save. I'm kind of iffy, like having, being now part of the Steam community as well as the Xbox One. Sometimes I'm a little bummed that I can't just pull saves simply, which is kind of goes back to what you were talking about, Logan, of just the ease of access.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that these games are arriving in more places. And part of me is still that little, I want that exclusivity, sell the consoles.
Yeah.
But that market is so far removed. Like, they maxed the console market. It's not growing. So I acknowledge the new inroad. And I think you stumbled on to it, like the motto of 2025, build bridges between platforms. Yeah, why not? Why not? I'm here for it. So, yeah, that's what I've got there. Let's talk about South of Midnight, though, guys. I arrived to this direct excited for Doom and South of Midnight, and I came away excited to add to it was Ninja Gaiden, but South of Midnight absolutely blew me away. Hazel, the art behind her, I fell in love with her. I still do not enjoy the stop motion of any kind. I truly don't like stop motion, but to see the gameplay in full motion, I was here for it. I'm more excited than I've ever been for this Southern Gothic take. Baron, start me off on this one. South of Midnight.
Yeah, you know what? I love how rooted in the South that it is. I didn't grow up in the South, but all my family is from there. And so, that's where I spent all my vacations. If it wasn't out in the middle of the desert on the res, it was down in the sticks in Bama. So like it's really cool. Like, it felt, for me, when I got hooked was back when they first announced it, which was, what was it, 2 years ago or a year ago? I'm blanking on time. But when they showed the aunties and her grandma, that's what did it for me. I was like, oh, these feel like real family members. Like that, like that, the auntie with the blowout hair. And then it was from the last time they showed South of Midnight. That's what really nailed it for me, is what can you do with the extra characters? Like, yeah, I get, you have this core anchor person, and, it's dope that you're leaning in. That dope you got a black voice actress and mocap like to play this character. That's amazing. But, hair is amazing. Music is amazing. Environment's amazing. But what about the extras? What about the people who aren't going to be the core focus of the game? What are you doing with them? And to see that how much love and care they put into that sold me. This is really dope. I wonder if I'm going to play it in stop motion or not. I probably will, just for the novelty of it. But I'm hoping that they really fleshed it out. I can imagine some weird issues popping up, like, oh, hey, it's hard to block while using. I hope they fix that and really test that out. But of course, you can't really test everything until it gets in the hands of the masses. But I could, on a negative note, I could see it being a gameplay issue somewhere in the game. Like, yeah, just turn off the stop motion for this boss fight. Like,
Mhm.
like I could see it being something extremely random like that. But honestly, I think the design is amazing. I feel like the story is going to be dope. I said out loud when I was watching it, I was like, oh, this is she's basically going to be like Tanjiro. Like, this is Demon Slayer. Like, she's going to go around saving souls. And I think it's dope.
I think it's the stop motion, just to your point before Logan jumps in, I'm absolutely turning that mess off right away. I don't like it. I love TMNT and the new movie was great, but I would have turned that off if I could have made it full motion. I don't like it. It bothers me. It makes me think something's wrong with my frames. And this is feedback that the team has gotten. And so I think that is why you have that toggle on off. I hope that toggle on off exists in the cutscenes, because I think sometimes art can detract from experience sometimes. You know what I mean? I appreciate art for the sake of art, but if it's detracting from the experience, it's not useful to me. So I plan on turning that off immediately and then celebrating all the other things that have me very excited about this game. Logan, what do you think?
I'm stoked for this game, man. Having Banishers be one of my favorite games from last year, I'm super excited to jump into this game because it looks like that style of game. Like, you kind of traverse area to area. You've got, like kind of a wide linear kind of gameplay style. So you get to different arenas, and then you have like your little battle arenas. And it reminds me of a lot of like when I was playing God of War and God of War Ragnarok. Like, I love that gameplay style. I'm okay kind of shifting through tight spaces from time to time to get to different areas. So looking at this and looking how so much of the combat is developed around building up combinations and then having those combinations reward you by giving you more abilities to like do combos with those. I'm excited to kind of see like how you have to try and navigate between the different enemy types and what their combos do, because that was what I liked about Banishers. Some enemies you had to get physical with, some enemies you had to get corporeal with. So there were like ways that you had to kind of tackle different enemies and kind of focus on narrowly on one of them without getting killed by the other ones. And that was like always really interesting to me. Shout out to Adidas 20 in chat, member for 6 months. Salute.
What up, Adidas?
Good
Appreciate
to see you,
it,
buddy. Thank you.
But the game itself is really surprising to me. I love the fact that they've gone in, that they've talked to a lot of people, they've done a lot of research on like the folklore for the South, and that the game is like rooted in that. And the fact that the whole thing starts because they were trying to get away from a hurricane feels like so Wizard of Oz and Dorothy in the Tornado. I'm just like, this is a story that I don't think anyone's really told. I don't think anyone's tried to really address that. And the fact that, down in the South, they do have to rebuild a lot after hurricanes and stuff. So there's obviously like a really interesting story here between Hazel and her mother and her trying to find her and stuff. And that in a world that kind of like also starts to remind me of Princess and the Frog from Disney. And I'm like, oh, cool. It's like, you get to feel the heart of the South in this, and you get to heal it. And after a hurricane, that's what a lot of people have to do. So I was like, I'm excited for this. I think it was kind of a shame that, and I saw this sentiment echoed across a lot of other podcasts and stuff, and I agree. It was hard to see folks respond to how South of Midnight is so much slower and methodical in its combat, where Ninja Gaiden is so more frenetic and fast paced.
That seeing the two one after the other,
a cognitive dissonance between the two that I think kind of like disrupted people, that they were looking and they're like, oh, this combat doesn't look nearly as cool as Ninja Gaiden. And I'm like, yeah, but they're different types of combat. Like it's a different type of game. It's a much more methodical game with the spells and stuff. So that was where I was like, I wish they'd kind of like thrown
Clair
expedition
between.
Like
that makes sense.
Go from like super fast to a little bit like like action based with the RPG stuff, and then go into like South of Midnight, and then bring it back with Doom. That way Doom feels even faster.
That makes sense.
I heard Rand saying something akin to that, but I wonder if because of Ninja Gaiden, they were expecting socials to go nuts and pull people in, and then they get to see this project that is South of Midnight, because South of Midnight is an avowed size project from what I understand, right? Like this game, it's coming from Compulsion. We have a few in contrast, right? Like those are not big titles. They're very stylized and whatnot. And while it's been worked on thanks to leaks and reporting, we know since 2021, they showed this in June of 2024. And now here we are knowing its release date to be in April. So there's a really good or very fast turnaround of information on South of Midnight.
Yep.
And I love that it's embedded in the culture of the Southern Gothic culture. I love the style and the art. That's big gator is cool. The big catfish is cool. I think the particle effects look amazing. You're seeing some of that on screen now. I'm in for it, but I did not feel that having it juxtaposed to the Ninja Gaiden stuff took away from the experience. I was not in any way bothered by that because the styles are so different. Like the styles just did not clash in such a way that made me worry about it. But I do appreciate the logic there. I heard Rand and Jez talking about that on Xbox 2, I believe.
Yeah.
So let's see here. That is one team, by the way, that I would love to interview just because of the layered elements. And I hope that their coverage reaches more voices, because like I'd love to see what Level 1 Gaming, Baron, could do with South of Midnight coverage. Like I want to see that discussion. And
we got a bunch of Southern folks on the team who are ready.
Absolutely. So Xbox, if you're listening,
which we know you are.
Yeah, right.
we know you're listening. Come on, guys.
Get Level 1 in there. I want to see that. All right, let's take a brief moment. I want to give a shout out to the people that are supporting XEP, because we have put out a lot of content in the last 2-3 weeks. We had our Steam Deck review, of course. I was fortunate enough to interview and publish an interview with John Romero, the creator of Doom, on the exact same day that Doom: The Dark Ages was showcased. So honored that people have been willing to check that out. I hope that I couldn't believe it, man. I've been working on that for 6 months, and just an absolute legend there. But that stuff wouldn't happen if we didn't have channel members, if we didn't have super chats, if we didn't have patrons, because all of this stuff takes time and energy and monies for production costs and things like that. So I'm grateful to all of you, and I just want to say thank you to whomever and however you are supporting XCP through sharing, liking, super chats, Patreon, etc. I'm going to send out a couple gifted memberships here in chat for some people. Those of you that are watching live, I hope you enjoy and appreciate those. Thank you.
Man of the people.
There you go. Hey, John Wolf got one. Love that. He and Asante do great stuff. Tim Purr, good to see him. Adam Bartolo, good to see you getting one. Alex Retro Gamer 81, and of course SJ. Hope you all enjoy those. Logan, we didn't land any new patrons this week, but we have some incredible people in tier 2 and 3 rather that are supporting us. Would you mind reading those cool names for me?
Yeah. So as always, if you guys want to support us, there's an easy way to do it. You can either watch and share the show, or you can go a step higher and support monetarily. You can head over to patreon.com/Xbox Expansion Pass. And to do so, you get your name on the actual show for those tier 2 and tier 3s. And their shout outs are for Fado, Aaron G, Nick Bentley, The Scarecrow, Ken Rosling, Fabian Winkler, Stephen H, Edward, Regis Stella, the Brony Pirate, Rob Frawley II, Tao Zochi, Nicholas Johnson, Randall Thor 19, African, Game Positive, Jampack Sam, Rick Davis, Matt Valdez, Red Beast, Dano 12, DJ Hero, Brendan Myers, aka The Winter Gamer, Lord Sir Master James Suddy, congrats on the bike, and Sony's VP of Marketing, Kevin Butler.
I'm also going to add in three names as well to Nora, Eli, and Torin, listeners, Red Beast's kiddos. They listen on the car rides to and from school. Hope you guys are doing well. We appreciate you. All right, guys, let's get back into our Dev Direct. Again, incredible Dev Direct. We've talked about Ninja Gaiden 4, Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, South of Midnight. Expedition 33. We got a release date for this one as well, April 28th, adding into that April craziness. This is not a game that let me rephrase. This is not a game that I am thrilled by because it's not my type of game, but I could not say in any way, shape, or form and be serious that it doesn't look incredible. This game is absolutely gorgeous. This team, a small team, they look to be making something very special. I came away impressed with Clair Obscure. What were your guys' takes on this one? Baron, start it off, brother.
I am always happy to see the evolution of turn-based RPGs. I am anyway, like I think of just the evolution of the genre of RPGs, right? Like you when you think this is all we can do, and then they take it a step further. Seeing a turn-based where you actually have to pay attention to every part of it because you can engage with every part of the turn-based experience. Like, hey, if you want to land a perfect hit after you hit attack, you got to pay attention, and then you press a button at a certain time to actually increase the damage or block, or to have a real-time element in this. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. A real-time blend. It's so dope. And I mean, I never thought you would see innovation, because let's be real, when it comes to turn-based games, it's kind of been the same thing for the last ever. I don't want to pull it down because it'd make a mess, but I have the whole attack, magic, summon, item, and run, like, pin up here on the wall. Like that's what you get. That's what we've had. You can stylize it as much as you want. You can, personify it and move it around, which is similar to what we experienced in the design here. But to add that element of, hey, you can have a perfect attack. You can guarantee it through skill, not just strategy. And that's so dope.
Yeah, I'll jump in and say, like, this is one of the few times where an RPG has actually got my interest, because I am not a turn-based guy. I find it really dull for me.
That's
like
fair.
I have a real hard time, like, because for me it's a game of chess. And as much as I like playing chess, I'm not able to look more than like 3 moves ahead, or multiple paths. So for me, like playing a turn-based game, I'm going to hit attack every single time until I die or they die. And every once in a while, like, one of my people will die, and I'm like, okay, well, hopefully my healer's alive, or hopefully I have an item to be able to do this. But I hate wasting rounds on healing everyone up just for the next round of a boss attack to wipe them all down to like 1 again. And I'm like, this is not fun for me. This is the part that I don't like about turn-based games. So looking at Expedition 33, I'm like, oh, well, this has elements of Super Mario RPG that, that was the first turn-based RPG that I ever played and actually beat. I've played a fair few. Like I can't even do Baldur's Gate. Like, that is how hard this is for me. But playing this looks like something that would be so akin to Super Mario RPG, with the perfect attacks and the action-based elements to it, that make me actually like invested in, like, okay, well, this is set in a fantasy world. It looks like a very Western style game. And the story is one that I'm curious to kind of learn more about, with these different characters and stuff, and how they're struggling and what's going on with them. That I want to give this a chance. So, and they've brought in elements from like Final Fantasy and Phantasy Star and stuff, with like the world map and traversal and stuff. And I'm like, this is wild. Like, they're going for some real deep cuts on gameplay design that I haven't really seen too much of in games. I think Tiny Tina's Wonderland was the last time I saw anyone try to actually like attempt a world map in the same way. And I was like, okay, well, this is kind of cool. Like, I'm kind of invested to see like where this goes.
So I do have a worry, though, and I'm curious what you all think about this release date, because the release date for Expedition 33 is April 28th. And yes, it's hitting Game Pass, and that's fantastic. But South of Midnight is April 8th. Then you've got Doom, The Dark Ages, May 15th. Given the size and scope of South of Midnight, I would imagine you can get through it just fine in time for Clair Obscur. But you've also got all the other titles from all the other companies, all the other platforms coming out. I just feel like April is a stacked time, and I worry about a game like this one that is a small team punching above their weight, doing something special. I hope the best, and I'm wondering, like, will it get the flowers that it deserves? Baron?
I'm gonna tell you why I believe it will. One, a lot of people, I don't know if it's just me and my algorithm, but they've been marketing the crap out of this game. They've been marketing Clair Obscur for a very long time. I've seen more ads for this game than honestly any of the other Xbox titles that are on the way or have. I've seen more of Clair Obscur than South of Midnight. Like, and that's just a fact. For me, I can't speak for everybody else and their algorithm, but for me, it's been there. Also, I think the player base that's going to gravitate towards this, it's going to take it over the top. You got to think, especially in a new Persona drought, seeing something with the Persona, vibes fresh off a Metaphor. I think this is gonna ride a good wave, and I think the people who they're pushing this towards they don't really have to worry about it. Like, they're gonna get it. Like, I could imagine a lot of folks who are gonna play Clair are probably not too worried about picking up Doom. Like that,
a fair point. A very
like
fair
that.
point.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just, now I'm not saying there's no overlap. I'm just saying that majority probably are not going to be playing Doom. And that's why I think this is gonna be dope. I think they're gonna do very well, especially if they come out with a cool steelbook. Even though, who cares about physicals anymore? I mean, I do, but
can I ask
6
about
or 7
that?
other people?
I'm curious, like, what is it? Because we were having this discussion, and shout out to Nissa in chat, because we were having a discussion about steelbooks, and I was curious, like, what is your appeal behind steelbooks in particular, outside of just like collector's editions and stuff? I'm curious to get your opinion on this, because for me, I was trying to like describe like why I think people would get into steelbooks, but I'm not one that collects them on the regular, so I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are from someone who does collect them.
I think it's the last remnant we have of physical collectible items that used to come with games. I'm the guy who used to stop by GameStop, buy a game, and like try to smooth talk the person behind the counter, and they would pull that drawer open and then throw me a bunch of stuff from different games. The hats, the bags, the keychains. I collect pins still. Shout out to Fear Zine magazine. Dan, they put in a pin for a certain tier of people who support it. It's people want to feel things in a world where everything is not real. Like, being able to hold something, I think we're swinging back to that. I mean, hell, vinyls are kicked back up to the max. Like, you know what I mean? You got kids wanting to buy vinyls. Like, we're getting back to people wanting to hold things. So this is one of the coolest ways. And then it's a different case. Remember, we don't get booklets anymore. I don't know the blood type of my favorite character. Like, you laugh, but this was a core, remember, y'all, this was
the profiles.
This was a huge thing. You learned a lot. I mean, hell, you couldn't get through Metal Gear Solid 2 without reading the book. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just, these are things that were embedded into us, and if you came up under that, so Steelbook is like the final remnant that comes directly from the developer publisher, and not third party. That it's something tangible.
Interesting. So that brings up an interesting point, because Luke and I have had a standing bet for Avowed, and the bet was for $10 to Extra Life. And the bet was that Avowed would be all digital. And the debate came down to, and we agreed that that digital is including if it just has a steelbook with a digital copy and it doesn't have the actual disc out there. So in that instance, we found out that Avowed is going to be released all digital. It will have a steelbook premium edition, but just the code in it. And I attribute a lot of that to just the size of games and the patches for day one. So that's kind of my mentality behind it. But I'm going to be donating $10 to extra chat or extra. Oh my god,
Extra Life.
Thank you.
Super chat. No.
To yeah, I'm going to be doing. So I'm gonna be donating to Extra Life for the $10. But that is one of those things where it's like the most physical we really get nowadays is the one or two one-offs of like companies who are like adamant about doing a disc, like Larian Studios did the physical for Baldur's Gate. Yep. I've heard that there's going to be a physical for Doom, but it's like it just kind of comes down to who's producing it and who's going to be putting it out, and it feels kind of sad that like we don't have discs anymore. Like I go out and rummage through secondhand stores to find copies of Sea of Thieves so that I can just give those out to people if I happen to go to a convention and they haven't got a physical copy of it. I like finding cheap copies of Sea of Thieves to collect. So
that is so weird. I did not know you did that.
No, that's awesome. No, spread the good word. You're a librarian now. Like, welcome, welcome to the fold. Yeah. Like, I'm a firm believer that Fallout is, not just because Luke's here, the brand.
He is Fallout.
But you see, Baron, last time you came on, you had to bring that up. We were 56 minutes in without any Fallout references, nobody dunking on me, and now here we are.
I'm sorry, but the reason I bring it up is I'm a firm believer that when the world collapses, Nintendo Switch cartridges are going to be bottle caps. Like, think about it. Think about when I experience power outages on a regular. Imagine power just blacks out, boom. And all we got is solar panels. Nobody's solar panels strong enough to keep Wi-Fi going. Well, because everything else is down. What are you going to have? What entertainment are you going to have outside of the books that people are burning for warmth? You're going to have your Nintendo Switch and your Game Boy Advance. And all these cartridges are going to become the currency. And the pennies will be deal or no deal.
Oh, man.
I mean, that's legit. Like when I lost power and I was out of power for a couple of days, like, dude, nothing on my Xbox worked. I sat down and I started playing through Ghost of Tsushima again on PlayStation because I was like, well, I got the disc.
See what I'm saying?
The discs are here, so I might as well just go at it. So I think it was like God of War or Spider-Man. It was one of those. I got like the physicals for those because I buy them when they're cheap. And yeah, having them digitally does make it easier, when you just have it like there and accessible in your library. You take it forward and you don't have to worry about backwards compatibility or buying a disc drive, or if they're even going to put a disc drive in it
connected to the internet.
Like I don't have to worry about that kind of stuff because I've kind of like solidified. So yeah, going and trying to find like a couple of the physical editions for stuff like that. Like, heck yeah, dude, I like
Wukong on physical. Like, like bring back multiple discs, bro. We're here for it. Like okay, I'll stop.
I'm of two minds about it. I will 100% like I will say that yes, digital is great because the accessibility to it is amazing. But when you can't access it, that sucks. And that's where I fall back on physical media. That's why I still have a Blu-ray drive in this bottom drawer down here and a huge folder out there of like DVDs, Blu-rays and stuff. Because God forbid something happens and all the live services are just like, well, can't do that in the United States
Cartoon
anymore.
Network. Look at how many cartoons you can't watch anymore.
Yeah.
Like simply because somebody decided not to renew the license.
Yeah. All right, we're going long.
My bad.
Sorry,
my bad.
No, I was enjoying it. I was laughing at you from my pedestal of digital only. But I was enjoying the conversation. And jokes aside, like I was just last night considering the games that I really want to play that are time locked and license locked to older platforms. And obviously I'm talking like it's Luke Lohr talking, so it's superhero stuff, but like it sucks when things are license locked to old. And then you have to consider, do I buy all the old tech and play physical or do I emulate? And that's not a fun thing because if I could give money to it, I would. And so I've been debating like, what do I want to do with my Steam Deck to play some of these older titles? and I don't know, do I want to break it out like that and do emulation and stuff? And I just don't have a good answer for myself.
Dude, I'm on Facebook Marketplace on the regular, looking at like prices for N64s, for Wii's, for Xboxes, for Xbox 360s. Like I am like always on the edge, the precipice of like leaping into that, gonna buy the old console because I really want to go play Wolverine Origins, like, or I really want to go like find, you know, like that game that I just like
Get
Wind
away.
Waker HD. Yeah, like stuff that I want to jump back into that I haven't played in forever. Or I never got to. Yeah, and it's all tied into like licenses and stuff.
Sid Meier's Pirates.
Nice.
Stop baiting me.
As many times I bought that game at least 4 times.
Did you really?
Sid Meier's Pirates? Oh yeah.
Boys, we got so far off track, but in the best way. Like we were supposed to be talking about Doom, but like, no, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Let's go back and talk about Doom: The Dark Ages, because obviously I will plug once again. I got to interview John Romero, creator of Doom, on the day that this came out. It was the coolest feeling in the world, and like he joins a long list of legends we've been fortunate to talk to on XEP, from Seamus Blackley and Ed Freeze to Lauren Lanning and Cliffy B, and now he's in there, and Mike Chapman from Sea of Thieves and such. Like, it's really cool to see that name there, and it times very well with the Doom: The Dark Ages stuff. But one of the things I asked him was like, does he like the direction of this new Doom? I'll say sequel trilogy. Not that I technically allow for that to be the timeline purposes and the canon, but I think we all know what I mean. I really am thrilled for Doom: The Dark Ages, and honestly, like that. Oh man, guys, I'm really wanting to buy that collector's edition. Like, I'm also wanting to go to LA, so like I'm having to balance. What do I do? But I really love Doom. It's my top 3 franchises of all time. Doom: The Dark Ages, I'm stoked for it. But I will say I was a little taken aback and a smidgen old worried when I saw parrying in a Doom game with that shield. Shield looks dope. I'm very excited. Day one for me, no matter what. I might sell a kidney in order to get that statue. But it was odd to see that Doom, which was 2016 run and gun, Doom Eternal, jump and strafe. It was 20. Yeah, I think it was 2016. Check me, but I'm pretty sure it was 2016.
I think it was 2016.
2016 for the original. I thought you were going to jump into the year for Eternal.
No. Eternal was the grapple hook, jumping, dodging, and now with this one, you're stand and fight with the shield, parrying and such. And I don't know how I feel about parrying in Doom, but I know that this game looks incredible. My hype level continues to rise. I've got my Revenant right here. Couldn't afford at the time the helmet that came with Eternal, and so I didn't snag that one. But that statue for Eternal, or for Dark Ages, I don't know. I'm rambling because I'm so excited and I love Doom so much. Where were you guys at for Doom? Because I'm stoked.
Aaron?
I'm probably not gonna play it.
Get out.
It's not my thing, man.
No one's perfect.
I'm gonna tell you this. The reason I like this one is because it felt more, I hate the word grounded, but that's the best way I could describe it. It felt slower. It felt more manageable for me. Like I'm not a guy who will play twin stick shooters, even though this always reminded me of a first person twin stick shooter. But looking at I'm thinking, what was that game on PlayStation with the lady in the spaceship, or the lady in the spacesuit? Returnal.
Oh, Returnal.
Yeah.
No, thank you. No, thank you. But so seeing this, the chaos on screen, constant stuff happening, moving and grooving, but it felt slower enough for someone like me to enjoy.
I see.
That's why, like looking at Eternal, no, thank you. But looking at this one, and I like that they acknowledged that. They were like, hey, they described, like you just went through, they're like, Doom was they walked through the pacing and how it's changed across the 3 titles. And seeing this one definitely has a when I see it, it reminded me of Immortals of Avium. And
yeah, with the shot, the red,
and the color scheme and the doing this and I was like, okay, I can get behind this. I beat Immortals Avium, so
it's so good
in terms of pacing and movement. This reminded me of that, and I can get behind it. Now the chances of me playing it on top of all this backlog, like I just bought all the SAO games, bro. I bought all of them.
SAO,
Sword Art Online.
Oh,
Yeah, I bought all of them.
What a random thing. Is that random? Is there some Sword Art Online game I don't know about that just happened?
Sword Art's big.
There's a bunch of games, bro. It's like,
Right,
I think
but
I got like 6 or 7.
Why now is what I'm saying.
Because Christmas had just passed and somebody gave me a GameStop gift card and they were having buy 2 get 1 free, and I took full advantage.
Got it.
So now I have them all. And my backlog is infinite. So I don't know if I can. If they tell me the game's like 12 hours, then yeah, okay, I'll do it. But it's definitely not. It's going to be like 22, 24.
And let me just tell everybody listening right now, he's not gonna play him. Marvel Rivals has taken his life. He got to finish Breakpoint.
Yeah.
Avowed's around the corner. That's a short game. Yeah.
It only took me like 4 years to beat. What was the one they came out with before? Spacer's Choice. I'm blanking on the name.
Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds.
Yeah, it took me forever to beat that. Not because I don't know. It just took me a while.
And that was a shorter title too.
It was very short. And when I finally sat down and beat it, I was like, "Oh, why did this take me so long?"
I was gonna say it
because I was running around just shooting stuff for no reason. But yeah.
See, I got lost in the comedy with it, like talking to everyone and the jokes and stuff. Like, that was top notch.
Even the way it starts, like having that guy stuck under a ship, like it took me forever. Like, but sorry, Luke.
Yeah, so I'll jump into my thoughts for Doom. The Dark Ages looks like the type of game that I want to jump into for Doom. Like having you get a shield, having you use the shield, having so much contextual like gameplay built around like just one button for the shield and for like the guns and just like the fire and stuff. That's so cool to me. And this is the thing that I really like right here. Like on the screen, we've got the actual settings. They have so many different little values here that you can play with. Damage to the player, damage to the demons, enemy projectile speed, enemy aggression, parry window, daze duration, game speed, resource values. Like they're really just saying like, hey, if you want God mode, you can have God mode. Mm-hmm. If you want to play like the Flash, you can play like the Flash if it was like Captain America. Like they're literally saying this is going to be a game that not only gives you like difficulty settings, but also modifiers to those and lets you kind of like jump in at your pace. And that is one thing that I've seen other games like I think The Last of Us and Forza Horizon have done amazing jobs with accessibility that you don't get across the board. So having something like this to me says like I would like this in all of the Doom games. Like go back and throw that into Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. Like give me the ability to kind of like tweak things. Like if I'm not fast enough to be able to dodge projectiles, then let me like slow things down a little bit kind of thing. So I'm excited for that. I think this game looks fantastic. I am here for the shield, like the dodge or the parrying projectiles. Dude, I'm all for that. I think that looks awesome. That is way more interesting to me than trying to get like the perfect grapple, jump, double dash into, a backwards dunk on, like some demons. Like I would much rather. And they put mechs, Luke. They put giant mechs in the game, and you get to pilot that. And they said it wasn't even one-off. Like you get a fire-breathing machine gun mounted dragon to fly around on that has skills and has leveling and like this is gonna be a cool game.
And that's the thing is like I'm so thrilled by that. I'm also nervous about it because it's such a departure from what Doom is. But I love Doom and I love the direction they've gone, and I've loved every version of Doom that I've ever played. And so I am excited about the mechs. If anybody if you've not played the Doom Eternal DLC, like, oh my gosh, they upped the level so much and those mechs are on display to the nth degree. It's so cool. So I'm very, very excited. This game is going to be awesome. And something that I can tie this into our Ninja Gaiden conversation, something that Xbox, one way or another, has figured out is game legacy. If you want to play the history of Doom, it's all there on Game Pass. Doom 1 and 2 collection got redone. That's there, and it's wonderfully done with new levels and new campaigns. It's got John Romero's Sigil and Sigil 2 available to it, as well as the Legacy of Rust, which Night Dive made. Doom 3 is in there, the BFG edition. Doom 64 is in there. 2016 and Eternal are in there, which is just wild. If you want to do that with Quake's 1 and 2 remastered exist in there. Look at Ninja Gaiden. All of Ninja Gaiden's modern, like, post-2000 games are in there. So, like, to have, like, Ninja Gaiden 2 Black be in there, the old Sigma titles, the 360 games, as well as the modern versions, that legacy is there for you to do. Master Chief Collection exists. Marcus Phoenix, sorry, I can't talk about it. Like, there are so many cool things to say. Like, there's some great stuff with legacy. I was joking about the Marcus Phoenix collection just to mess with you. I saw Baron's eyes. Just throw all your questions.
You're an insider now. You know that, right? You have to be careful with your words.
I do have to be careful, but, like, I'm not an insider so much as I know insiders. That's more what it is.
No, sir. You just had who on the day of what?
No, come on.
Not even 24 hours ago?
Nah, come on.
Sorry, buddy. You're on the inside now.
Shout out to Nerds and Other Legends in chat. It's his first time here at XEP. I hope you're enjoying yourself, buddy. Thank you for hitting that like button and supporting. We appreciate you. Clutch Quando says, you just summoned Special Nick. Yeah. I'm going to tell you something about Special Nick. That man amazing. Talked about that game way too soon, and he has been paying for it. This poor guy. Oh, man. I want him on, but it's like midnight his time when we start. Poor guy. Yeah. So there you go. Bottom line, guys, let's cap off our discussion on the Dev Direct. I feel like they killed it. What do you think?
I think this is one of the best Dev Directs. They did the thing where they had the 4 games and the shadow drop and that the special little thing, you know. I think they've done a really good job of delivering content in the first 2 quarters of the year before the actual, like, July showcase. And that's, you know, that's what I like. That's what when I'm looking at the year, give me stuff that's going to be in the first half. Then when that's all out, focus on the stuff that's going to be for the last half and just keep that cycle. Give me the developers talking about the actual games. They're the ones that care the most about it. Like, people doing promotional marketing and stuff like that, they're just trying to sell the game. Give me the developers that are excited and passionate about that. Everyone loves when Todd Howard gets up to talk about the next thing coming to Starfield or Fallout or, you know, Elder Scrolls, you know, those kind of things. Like, everyone understands. Everyone loves when the developers come out to actually talk about their game, because they're the ones that have been working on it and laboring on it for years. So do that, bring that out. That's awesome. And give them, like, time, like, give them a space, make it curated. Do it, like, offline, so you don't have to worry about mess ups or anything like that. Live stage performances always make for the most awkward situations where people are, like, waiting for applause that may or may not come. Don't do that. Just do the directs, do the videos, and have them be at this caliber. And I think Phil Spencer talking on Gamertag Radio about how they liked how they could do stuff like this and keep it to stuff that was going to be, like, soon. You know, Ninja Gaiden 4 is, like, the only thing that's coming out in fall, but we got 2 Black as like a hey, we know you guys are wanting 4. Here's 2 Black remade in Unreal 5, so that'll tide you over if you want to go back and play that kind of thing. So I was really happy with how this came out. I think they need to continue this, and I'm looking forward to next year's to see what they come out with.
For me, clarity. Keep up the clarity. Get rid of that obscure, like, we shouldn't have to go read an article to figure out where these games are going to be available, if they're exclusive, are they day one in Game Pass. They literally answer, like, normally that's what people want to do, or at least people on this end of the space. We watch the direct and it's like, well, let's go read the post, because there's always a blog post to go with it, and to not feel the urge to go to the blog post. that means they delivered a perfect message. It was clear, concise. I didn't have to guess. I know all of these games are in Game Pass day one, and you hit me with a shadow drop. Whether or not I'm gonna play it, it's the fact that I now have access to another game. It's there. Like, keep making me feel good for being a part of Game Pass.
Correct.
Keep doing that.
Something they need to do, because consoles aren't selling, consoles aren't moving. Game Pass is the platform now. And it's a difficult thing because they've hit most heavy hitters from third parties, and most of their backlog sans the Activision stuff, which is still MIA, beyond me how that's
super weird.
But to continue supporting your Xbox Game Pass subscribers is necessary and a win, particularly as subscription services are going up in price, right? And so you've got to keep providing for those subscribers, because there are a lot of Xbox fans who have been very well treated via Game Pass, but still feel mistreated given the console space, and that's a weird tightrope to walk, and I acknowledge that. So, all right, gentlemen. You did mention the Phil Spencer interview on Gamertag Radio. Big shout out to Danny Pena and Paris Lilly for getting to have that interview. I consistently say that I'm envious of them, and they are role models in this space. Getting to have on those big guests, it's a long-time goal of mine. So cheers to them. Congratulations to them. I've yet to be able to watch it just because I've been busy, but it's on my to-do list.
It's good. The one critique, they asked some really strong questions too, and Paris talked about how he wants to know why, or he wanted to ask Phil, like, for the gamers, why they should continue investing in Xbox hardware.
Oh, that's great.
That was a really good conversation. So shout out to Danny and Paris for 20 years of Gamertag Radio. That was awesome. It was a good interview. I was a little disappointed in Phil's response to the Switch 2 question about what he thought of it, because he's like, I just reached out to Nintendo and been like, hey, thanks for making the bigger screen. My eyes had a hard time, looking at small screens and stuff. And I was like, come on, Phil. What is it about the Switch 2 that you like? Because that's gonna make me feel like you're gonna be over like, hey guys, what's going on with the Xbox handheld? You guys
Halo Infinite looks great on the Switch 2.
Halo, yeah. Master Chief Collection Master Chief and Sea of Thieves on Switch 2 are gonna be so good. Cannot wait for it. So yeah, no, it's
happening, Baron.
Oh yeah. Remember Control, Hitman? They've been prepping for this for a while with the streaming service. I thought it would have happened sooner, to be honest with you.
Yeah, same.
Very curious to see how the Switch 2 rolls out with content and what Xbox decides to throw on that and stuff. But yeah, it was a good interview. I would definitely urge everyone to go give it a check. I think even Jez had an article that came out recently that he was talking about stuff about what he liked about the interview as well too. I don't have the tab open anymore.
I just went to Windows Central. They've also got the Doom John Romero interview up there. That's kind of
nice.
Cool,
let's go. No, upplay your wins, bro. That's ridiculous. For folks who don't know, the backlinks that are involved with this is legendary. This is a milestone moment. And if you create in the space, you know what I'm talking about. Shout out to you guys, man. It's freaking legendary.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's cool.
I'm very curious about
you're immortalized.
I have questions about that interview too.
Which one? The John Romero one?
Yeah. I have questions for you about stuff I'm curious about, because we'll have to talk offline because I have stuff I want to talk to you about for that interview. But yeah.
He did tease stuff towards the end that I'm like, wait a minute.
That's why. That's why I want to talk to you about that. I'm not gonna talk about it.
You guys watching won't hear it.
Yeah,
we're bad hosts.
There are questions that need answers for that I think he has answers for that I don't know if we're allowed to talk about. So that's not going to be on air right now.
Fair enough. Well, I'll tell you what, let's talk about something I can talk about. Let's talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows, because I got to have a 4-hour game preview event. I'll be happy to answer anyone in chat's questions. If you guys want to throw questions my way, live chat people, you're welcome to. Super chats are appreciated, but not required. For this one, if you and Baron have questions for me on those, I'll tell you this: I was super high on this game and did not expect to be. So there's a 23-minute video on our channel that you guys can go watch for with good B-roll and stuff. But any questions, anything you guys want to know from my time with it?
How varied? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go for it.
How varied is the feel between both characters, playable characters?
Great, fantastic question. Big. It's a big difference between the two. One of the things I showcased in my video is that playing as Yasuke, who is the samurai, he's like playing a big brute, versus Nawe, who's a shinobi, which is your kind of more standard assassin. Yasuke is huge in this world. He's big. He's a big man, and he stands out for a number of reasons. And I think it's a really cool, obviously, black samurai in this world,
right?
Credit to them, by the way.
He's probably only like 6'2", like
right, which is ginormous, especially for that time frame.
on all that armor. But they handled Yasuke and Nawe fantastically, both in terms of race and gender in this world. And the visual matched super well. I talked about the hair and the blood in my video. And it was impressive. But Yasuke, so well handled in the prologue, which we can't talk about spoiler wise, but they addressed it so well that I was like, okay, this doesn't feel like tokenization, which that is a dangerous road to go down. If you're going to put a black samurai in your game set in feudal Japan, you better handle it right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're going to upset any number of cultures just by doing that if you don't handle it well. And they truly, in my time with it, my 4 hours, did. And so to loop to your question, you have this very big man covered in armor. And I tried to play it traditional Assassin's Creed wise. So I was climbing up rooftops and like I saw he's moving a little slow, but I went to go walk across a rope and like dunk, fell right down. That rope snapped right under me. And suddenly I'm in this compound surrounded by people. Muskets are being shot at me. I'm trying to fight my way out. I got wrecked. Went and did the same thing with Nawe, this very lithe, small, stealthy woman who's moving through in more traditional Assassin's Creed style. But it felt to me like I'm playing your Arkham style stuff and moving through. And so they felt very different. They look very different. They're both brilliantly animated. I was really appreciative of the differences in the two characters and how much I enjoyed both, but for different reasons. Because anyone who's listened to XEP knows how much I love Arkham, right? And I'm on this massive playthrough, so they've had to hear about it every episode. No apologies. But it was cool to go between the two because you can switch as long as you're not.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah, as long as you're not in combat or under investigation, you can just switch. You just toggle a button, go into your inventory.
Now, is it GTA 5 style where each character is doing something different, or is it like you're just hot swapping?
You're literally hot swapping. At least again, from my impression and from what I saw, I was hot swapping between characters, and it's like a no harm, no foul kind of thing. Your cutscenes will be catered to your character, right? Like Nawe is going to have certain things that she says versus Yasuke. One of the things I asked, because I find it interesting, I asked this to like our ambassador, that's like on the mic with you while you're playing. There's a time skip between the prologue into the game. And I was like, why are people not reacting to giant black samurai man or little shinobi woman with her face covered walking through their villages? And by that point in the story, they're known well enough that it's not like this is new and different. And so that was cool, but I didn't pay a good or well enough attention to find out, are they reacting to me being Yasuke specifically or to me being Nawe specifically ambiently? The cutscenes will, but like, will the villagers go, oh, there she is, or there he is? I didn't catch that part. So
I'm really curious because for me, the idea of having two characters in a game like this, I'm used to Ghost of Tsushima. Like that is my point of reference when I look at this title, because I see a lot of like the same UI elements. They've got something that looks like Resolve that you can use for special moves. It looks like you've got different weapons for like Yasuke and Nawe based on like, holding down the right bumper, the left bumper, L1, R1. And I'm kind of curious, like, do you feel like they went the right direction by splitting up the story between two characters, or should Yasuke and or Nawe just been a secondary character that follows you along through the story? Do you think that they were justifying having two different play styles in this game?
That is an incredible question, but I think that's going to be a question that I'd have to give you during a review, right?
Okay.
Because you need more time. In the preview event, the two characters were justified very well. It made sense. One of the things that I would critique about my preview is that there was a lot of talking in these cutscenes. A lot. Like it was like watching a Kojima level event. Some of it felt very Quentin Tarantino-esque. In fact, I think I said that in my review, or my preview, but I chopped that little part out of it just for time. But it felt very Quentin Tarantino the way they introduced some of these characters and such. However, the length of cutscene was done, at least from my way of seeing it, that it justified why Nawe and Yasuke exist separately. Like why you need Yasuke in the story, why you need Nawe in the story. And again, I go back to like, I was worried about tokenization. Like, okay, why are we picking this time this character? Why are we putting these two particular characters who could be unique to themselves together? But it felt worthwhile from what I saw. That is a question to be answered, though, once you've played through start to finish, because there was a time jump and a level jump from our prologue experience to our gameplay experience. But that is a question that Ubisoft had better answer, right? Like, it's on them to answer that with the game. And all signs point to, yes, they're going to, but you don't get to have these characters that are such a departure from what would be standard and not address it. Does that make sense?
That's kind of my, I'm very curious. One, to that question, I want to know, like, do they justify like having two separate play styles? Like, that's important to me, because at the end of the game, you're going to finish the game with one of these characters. And if it's one thing that I learned about Cyberpunk 2077, going into your character, you pick either Street Kid, Corpo, or what's the other one? Nomad. I think it's Nomad. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Desert. I think it's the people from the desert.
Yeah, I can't remember the actual name for it though. But yeah, you choose one of those, and the game is supposed to react based on that character choice. Like, you're supposed to have dialogue options that you wouldn't necessarily have, given that the overall impact of that at the end of the game is 0. It does not matter. Like, if you chose a Corpo or a Street Kid life, you end the game the same way. There's multiple endings, but that impact does not factor into how you do it. So when I look at like Assassin's Creed Shadows, and I see there are two characters, both characters are very different types of characters and very different storylines, and they're being pushed together. At the end of the game, I'm going to be finishing the game as one of those characters. I want to know if that is something that they've taken into consideration, how much impact it is when you actually finish it.
What if they go Splinter Cell style? And
how do you mean?
I forgot which Splinter Cell it was, but there was a multiplayer component where at the end, spoiler alert, heavy spoiler alert, there's a fight that takes place. And like
I could see them doing that too.
That'd be dope. That'd be dope.
A really good like going, but I mean, they gotta foreshadow that. They have to foreshadow, because if they don't foreshadow that and you go into it thinking that you're going to pick one character over the other because of they're just a little more preference to what you need, what you think is going to come down the line, then that's going to be pretty rough. Like, so they need to make sure, like, hey, there is a choice. If you make this choice, you have to understand, like.
Or maybe they go Samurai Champloo, super spoiler alert, and then everybody just kind of shakes hands and walks away. Like,
they could do that. Oh my god!
Yeah,
I haven't watched that.
Yeah, deep cut.
Yeah, they could do. They could do that too. God, now I want to go back and watch that.
Yeah, the samurai who smells the sunflowers. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, that was a good show. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Luke, just based on the time that you spent with it, Ghost of Tsushima, my favorite game from PlayStation from the last 2 generations so far. I need to know what the world map was like, because Ghost did a really good job of having a fog of war that allowed you to kind of traverse and open up areas, and there were points of interest that were scattered about. But after a while, you got to the same kind of conclusion. There was either going to be a fox den, or it was going to be a hot spring, or it was going to be a tower, or it was going to be like a banner, or it was going to be like different things, same way, just kind of spread about. Was the diversity of the world map explored in your time with it? And if so, did you start to run into similar points of interest as you were kind of playing?
It was discussed. It was discussed. I did get to see a map, right? Like we zoomed out and we looked at regions, and that there is footage. I think I clipped it into the preview video. And, you know, what you do in one area, like if you're wanted in one area, you won't necessarily be wanted in another area.
Ooh,
I like
right.
that. Yeah,
So I
did like that aspect of it.
I like that too, because it lets me cause havoc, make a mistake, do something. And like if you do it with Yasuke, you're wanted with Nawe. So like there is that, like it's synonymous, but like you're not going to go region to region. Nerds and Other Legend asked, is it more like Black Flag or closer to Odyssey in style? It is more like Odyssey. And Logan, that kind of answered your question too in its world map. It is very much like Odyssey from what I could tell, because each area is going to be leveled, and like to venture into that land, you can go, but like you may not be ready for it, right? Your skills may not be there. Your armor may not be there. And that world map looked big, but maybe other previewers did, but the direction that I took my preview, I don't have an idea of whether we're looking at like a 15-hour or a 40-hour. I don't think, and I see Nerd Chat asking, and I appreciate the question, Nerd Chat, are we looking at like a 100-hour campaign? I don't think you're looking at that. You might look at like a 50 plus with collectibles and stuff, because there are a lot of collectibles. It's Ubisoft, but it's not a big 100-hour experience like Valhalla. That is the impression that I got. Again, please don't quote that as being the thing, but from what I looked and saw, I don't think we're looking at a massive Valhalla size game. My hope is that it's a little bigger than Mirage, but nothing crazy. Logan, you were asked, Ghost of Tsushima is your game. It's like your Arkham, for lack of a better descriptor, right? Like in terms of like how much you love it. I will tell you that this, having played Ghost of Tsushima but not finishing it, just because I loved it. I loved it. I do plan to go back to it, actually. I gotta tell you, this feels like you're gonna enjoy just as much. Maybe not just as much, but like there's no reason you wouldn't love this too. Yeah. Right? Like it's kind of, I looked at this. I'm trying to use this in Luke terms because that's just it is. This, if I love Arkham the way I do, I also love Spider-Man Remastered. They're similar in style, different characters and whatnot, but like I feel like they coexist well. That's what I think this would be. And so I think, Logan, this should be a day one for you. If Ghost of Tsushima is what it is. And so this should be your day one. If you want to review this one, I can make that like if that's what, because this game was great. I left this preview wanting to play more. And like I don't sit still for very long, guys. I'm hurting right now at 90 minutes, right? I wanted to sit down and keep playing. That is a testament, especially when you're playing over remote play digital event, right? Like I wanted more. This game's cool. I liked it.
Yeah, I'm interested in that. I was just putting up the world trailer for the game, and they showed like there's like dynamic weather patterns in that, and then we got that a little bit with Ghost of Tsushima, but there was definitely like biomes that you would go to depending on like the progress in the story and stuff. I'm interested in Shadows because it looks like it's taking a lot of the things that I liked about Tsushima and bringing those into an Assassin's Creed game, where Assassin's Creed at the end of the day is the makers of that like formula, going to point and thing to thing. And that's what I liked about like Ghost of Tsushima did that, and it didn't overstay its welcome in those. Like you got to kind of like pick and choose how you wanted to go about it. And the thing that I like about Shadows is it looks like it's doing something similar, but just splitting it between two characters. Like there were definitely times where I'd go into a bandit camp and I would just be like, come at me. I don't care. Let's fight. And there were sometimes where I'd jump around from roof to roof and start assassinating people and stuff like that. And it looks like I get to do that with this. It's just going to be split between the two characters. And that's one where I kind of wonder, like, how does the story play out in that case? Because with Tsushima, it was very much like an honorable samurai having to do what he's got to do to save his country, even if it means breaking his code. And that was a very hard thing for me to reconcile for a while with that game, just as a story perspective. And Shadows has an interesting story that I want to get into, that, you know, like, how does it address that kind of play style? And how does it address having like two main characters working together in tandem that you switch between, and how does that get affected? How does the story get affected? Are there differences? Like, how deep does that actually go? So I'm hoping this game is really good. I've seen a lot of people talk about like how they felt like it didn't really like do well as far as, or giving you the balance between the two characters. But I wouldn't expect a 6'2" dude to be able to jump around from roof to roof the same way a 5'9" or 5'8" or 5'5" ninja could do. Like, it just they're more agile. So I mean, those things didn't rub against me the way they did for other people. So I'm very curious how this ends up being. And I'm really interested to actually jump into it.
Again, at the risk of overselling it, go look at the preview video I did. It's 23 minutes, but like, the moment where I tried to walk on the rope is where it clicked for me that these two characters are distinct. Because I was like, oh, problem.
But that's so dope.
It is.
That immersion, because let's be honest, I don't ever expect more from graphics, but that immersion, like being able to make you feel like you're running around with a 6'2" dude in heavy armor, like that's so legendary. And Logan, if you haven't, go play Rise of the Ronin.
I was very trepidatious about it.
Go play Rise of the Ronin.
I saw a lot of people. Yeah, it's one of those ones that, like, I want to. There were certain things that it did, but I'll give it a shot.
Go play, and then if you enjoy that, go pick up Way of the Samurai.
Way of the Samurai.
Like, oh yeah, and then you can go through all those. Yeah.
Rise of the Ronin strictly on PlayStation, isn't it?
PlayStation, yep. Yes.
I kid you not. I just went to Steam to try and gift it to Logan. It's so annoying.
Oh
no, it's one of those ones. Like, I was very excited about it. It looked like it was going to do a lot of the things that I was looking forward to, kind of like tide me over between, you know, like the next Ghost game. It came out. There were things about it that I wasn't quite sold on. So now that it's been out a while, I will probably see about like finding a good deal on it if I have time. It's always going to come back to the, like, I still need to finish Indiana Jones. Like, I'm still in the desert on that one. But I'm looking forward to seeing like that, how that compares to the other games and stuff. Because Shadows looks like it's a little bit closer to Ghost than Rise of Ronin is.
Yes, I think so too. Nerds and Other Legends in chat saying, sounds really good. I don't think it will be day one for me. 2025 is so stacked. Yeah, it really is. It really is. The end of 2024 was stacked. Like, I have not touched Indiana Jones. And like, I'm not into that IP. I know I want to play it. It is a game I want to play. That's kind of the cool thing that has happened to Xbox now, is there are too many games in a good way. But, you know, like, now it's like, all right, how? I also think it's cool to see the scope that we're getting, because like Avowed, we've not talked about Avowed. That comes out in a month. Right?
But why do I know more about Clair Obscura than Avowed?
I mean, they put out a really long video for Avowed.
I know. I'm with you there, but I'm the average gamer's gamer. So when I look, like, let's just assume I didn't go and watch that Dev Direct, or didn't watch everybody's preview YouTube videos. I know more about Clair Obscura, or Expedition 33. I feel like I'm butchering the name. Expedition 33 than I do Avowed. Like that.
Yeah. If Avowed codes go out soonish, I think.
Yeah, that's what it should, but that's a whole different. Yeah, Yeah.
Yep.
So XEP.
Yes.
Episode
So like,
260.
I guess we'll find out. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
South of Midnight. Doom.
Yeah.
Expedition 33. Ninja Gaiden 4. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Oh, you look good.
Assassin's Creed.
I'm here for the size of these games, though. These are
Yes.
what I'm here for. So
Give me 20 hours and less. I'm with it.
Mhm. All right, boys. Let's see. I think that's about where a good spot to kind of fade out here. Does anybody have anything that they want to plug, talk about, mention, game point them to, that we want to mention before we exit here?
Yeah, Starbound made its way to Xbox, which means there is a chance for Starbound to get to the Nintendo Switch, which I actually was contacted by Chucklefish's PR people to please stop begging for it. Because I was getting belligerent. I wonder if I'm on a block list from Chucklefish, but so
where did we get B-roll? Was this in the dev direct and I didn't know?
No. Logan's just that dude.
You just got the super producer Captain Logan here.
Oh my god, you get look at this. Terraria could never.
That's what it looks. It looks pretty much like.
So imagine Terraria.
Yeah.
Except every planet is Terraria.
Oh, okay.
Seriously, every planet is Terraria. Like you think No Man's Sky mixed with Terraria.
Okay.
There you go. That's the easiest way to describe
it.
No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky mixed with Terraria. No Man's Sky expansiveness and infiniteness, if that's a real word, which it's not. And but Terraria's worlds and crafting and then it's multiplayer. Like, yeah. But then also I guess I should plug the website that I co-own and all that other fun stuff. lv1gaming.com. We are doing community game nights for our tier 2 patrons and YouTube channel members, and then we're also adding in $1 spot, which I wish we had from the beginning, but yes. And yes, help us. We're reviewing a lot more tech, that thanks to CES. So Yan Gaming, Hyperkin, we got to check out the DualSense-esque Xbox controller.
Jealous.
Yeah, no, it was super cool. And but yes, these are all things that we would like folks to go check out. I'm rocking some Seraphim headsets, the Seraphim A1s. They don't really push their product in the US because of course you got your Turtle Beaches and your Razors and whatnot. But yeah, it's all, this is just what we do, man. Gaming. But yes, please, lv1gaming.com, YouTube, lv1gaming 20, because there were 19 other ones before us. And but we are the official ones.
I love it. And Logan, you're getting a promotion.
Yeah, you're the best, dude.
Dang, dude. But I put the Level 1 Gaming link in chat. Once the show is like up, Baron, I'll put the links into the show notes, like for people to click on. I got you there. I will say, guys, rising tides lift all boats, and Baron has never once not tried to help lift the XEP boat. So know that. Support him, please. Logan, what you got going on, my friend?
Keelhauled, they're doing the community episode today. So later today, I'm going to be sitting down to talk about Sea of Thieves. So if you guys have any curiosities about that, they just did their latest patch, which turned ships invisible for certain people, which was it's the thing. It's a bug, fine. But we got the mimic dart. So now if you want to go around and look like other pirates, you can totally do the Spider-Man pointing at each other joke. And mimic each other and just do like have fun stuff like that. Sea of Thieves is fun. There's issues. They got troubles, but I think that game, if you look at it from a very casual perspective, you're gonna still have a good time with it. You're still gonna have fun playing with it. So
still the best water ever.
Best water, yeah.
You're
not gonna get better water in any other game. I've tried. I've looked. I've seen other water. It just doesn't look as beautiful. So yeah, Sea of Thieves content coming out Monday as usual. I have been working on the review for the A50s. I am currently going to be recording that and kind of doing a little a little bit of a comparison in microphones as well as just audio. Really excited to finally get that locked down and get into going back to reviewing games. So I'm going to be getting that knocked out as soon as I can. I know we've got a lot of other content coming to XEP, so it's going to have to fit in around all the other awesome interviews. So when that's done, that'll be coming out soon. Look forward to that because got some good thoughts on that. And that's it for me.
I'm thrilled for both of you. And Logan, it's cool to hear that you're enjoying. You sound happier about Sea of Thieves than you have. It makes me happy.
We've been having a lot of promises. There's issues. There's issues, but they're taking people off of stuffing stuff into the game to go back and actually like fix the game.
Good.
So, and a lot of the conversation around there has been them talking about how they want to try and like optimize things. And every time they say the word, they want to make things smoother and more optimized. I'm like, cool, because then you'll be able to bring the Xbox One version to the Switch too. And the video I put out like 5 years ago will finally be true. So I'm looking forward to it.
Good. I will say, listeners, obviously we've had a lot of stuff go up on XEP. We've referenced the Assassin's Creed Shadows and John Romero interview. Those were big things that happened this week for us. Yep. Last week, or maybe the week before, we had the Stealth Pivot controller review. Logan did a great job on that one. Please go check that one out. And on Wednesday of next week, my interview with the developers at Digital Eclipse about Power Rangers Rita's Rewind goes up to coincide with some news they have. And I'm just excited about that because I loved that game. They fixed it very fast. They put it out. Reviewers reviewed it, had concerns. Player base had concerns. Within 6 days, they addressed 80% of the concerns. And my review is now null because they fixed so many things. Thrilled for that. Love Digital Eclipse. So keep an eye on the show or the channel rather, for next week on Wednesday, the 29th. You'll have another interview go up there. So, alrighty, guys, that is going to do it for us. Thank you to anyone and everyone that has checked out this episode. Have a fantastic rest of your week. Take care, everybody.